hang out with men, because all life I was always, with women,
females,
and I prefer women company any day. So I did not want to do, you go and sit with this man, specifically in US, they will either talk about sex or they will talk about car or, football match or game. And I get bored, right? Even if you go to the bathroom, they're like so stinking dirty, So, I identify as a man, but I did not like those parts.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Say What with Shreya. We have talked about a lot of topics, but today's topic is sensitive and we want to create more awareness about it. Reports state that physical threats and cases of anxiety based on sexual orientation are a dominant concern. To talk about taboos and experiences, today we have a social worker, an LGBTQIA plus activist, the person who recognizes the concerns of society. Please welcome the producer of Fireflies, Mr. Milin Dutta. Hello sir, welcome to Say What with Shreya.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Doing alright?
So you organized the first Pride parade in Northeast India.
With others. I was co-organizing it, yes.
Yeah. So tell our audience about the idea, like how did you come up with that?
Okay. So before that, I think after Section 377 was reinstated, Section 377,
Yes.
which criminalized homosexuality.
Yeah.
So there was a global day of race. And that time I was in US. I was in Minnesota.
Oh.
So that Sunday it was snowing.
Yeah.
This Sunday in December, I think 13 or something like that. So, and I was feeling powerless because in Minnesota at that time I was very active with the politics. Like, I think 2012 Obama won, and in state of Minnesota, we own the various issue in Minnesota. They put it in election. So the people decided whether LGBT community could marry or not, right?
Yeah.
And that happened in 2011. It was decided the community will decide them. It will be in a election. So it was very scary for us because by default people say that 10% of the community is LGBTQ, 90% is not. So this whole majority, 90% people, which we thought that mainly will be homophobic, will decide whether LGBT community can get married or not. So the chances were very, slim. So we had a very good vote no campaign. It was like vote no, that it said no, that actually allowed to LGBT community to get married. So we were a big part of that, and we owned that, and gay marriage was legalized.
Yeah.
In US.
Yeah.
And here 2013 it criminalized LGBT community.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, my forefather, is Maniram Dewan. He was the first Assamese person to be executed by British. He was the freedom fighter, right? One of the street is called Maniram Dewan Path, MG Road. So I was like, and I am criminal. So that was what I was thinking, and it was snowing. I couldn't do anything, Then I was going through all this picture of Global Day of Race. It was happening, various cities in the world. Then suddenly I saw Digoli Pukhuri, Guwahati. So I was so excited, like Digoli Pukhuri excited. Digoli Pukhuri, that really made me very happy. Then I decided that I'll take sabbatical, 3 months sabbatical. So my boss, his name is Jeff White. So I went to him and I said that I want to take 3 months sabbatical. I'm going to go to India. So I came in February 2014. January, I think I came in January. So first I went to Bombay. I went and made Asukrai Kawa from Humsafar. Humsafar is the first LGBTQ organization in India. I think they started in '94.
Oh.
They're more focused on HIV and prevention of HIV. So, and there I asked, what could I do? What could I do? So he said, in the whole of Northeast, there are lots of activities, but it's not visible. It's like under. So he said, why don't you organize a gay pride? And I also met other people from various LGBT leaders from Bangalore and Chennai and Pune. Everybody said the same thing, organize a gay pride. So I came, I met those organizer of the Global Day rage, and there was B2P Datta, there is Minakshi and Ankita. So we together, I called them up, I said that, Minakshi I called, I said that I want to organize the first gay pride. Would you help me? She said, yes, we will do it. So together we did it. I did not know the whole process over here. Actually, they lead it, and we had meeting in the press club. We had various meetings. People tried to vandalize where we met, threaten, and then I got famous for there too, because I was the only person who was openly said I'm queer and want to have this queer pride.
How do you define pride?
How do I define pride? For me, pride is you take pride in whoever you are. You may not be an LGBTQ person, you may be just an ally, but you are proud of whoever you are.
Accepting
right?
yourself, your
Accepting
individuality.
Yourself. Yes, I'm proud to be a queer person, right? And hopefully there will be a time where everybody will be accepted. We may not be needing when LGBT community is fully accepted, right? Maybe we do not need pride anymore. Then it will be just man,
another
women,
person.
Yeah. So for me, pride is a place where we completely accept ourselves. The first gay pride I attended, I think it may be around 2004 maybe, and I went to see the pride in Minnesota. I was in Hennepin Avenue, and the pride was going, thousands of people. But I was very sad, because in US specifically, quite a lot of people wear whatever they want, and and I come from a conservative family, and all my friends were conservative, and I did not wanted them to think that LGBT means, or homosexuality mean only this half naked people on what they see in Pride Parade.
Yeah.
That is not what
Pride is about.
Yeah, but then I think that is the day where they could be whoever they want, right?
Yeah.
So they are so accepting their own self, I think, but quite often even the media focuses only on them, but there are lots of people who are just like us, ordinary people.
What is the full form of LGBTQIA+? Also, can you explain each from the same?
LGBT, L mean lesbian, when two girls, dujoni swale, joni hezuk bhal pai. G is gay, meaning duta lora, two guys like in love with each other or liking each other. LGB is when a person is attracted to both. It could be man or a woman.
Bisexual.
Yeah, bisexual.
Yeah.
So all those are related to attraction.
Yeah.
T is transgender. So it comes as a gender, right? So for example, I said I'm a transgender man. You are a cisgender woman. So cisgender mane, what is your birth sex assign?
Yeah.
The sex sign in your birth and what you identify yourself is same. You cisgender. For me, my birth sex assigned in my birth was female.
Yeah.
But I identify as a man, so I'm a trans man.
Correct.
So it's transgender, so transitioning from one gender.
Yeah.
LGBTQ is queer. I like queer because reclaiming this word queer, which is like indifferences, like different. So queer is supposed to include actually all.
Everything. Yeah.
So sometimes it's like, why do we just say LGBTQ? It's Q queer, right? But then slowly I also understand that QI is intersex. Intersex is a person who is born with both the genitalia, right? So intersex people, there's very less number of intersex, but there are people intersex. Then A is ally, so who are the friends of LGBTQ community. Another A is asexual,
yeah.
where there are many people who are not interested in sexual activities.
Yeah.
So they are asexual. And there's quite a lot more.
Yeah, which is
Plus.
Yeah, people are yet to discover.
Yeah, like for example, say I always am attracted to feminine person. So there's a name for that.
Yeah.
I may be a person who is like feminine male as well feminine female. There's a term for that.
Feminine male.
Yeah, there are quite a lot of male who are feminine, right?
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm just attracted to femininity, it could irrespective of the gender, right?
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, opposite way, that there could be somebody who is just like masculinity.
Yeah.
That could be a masculine man or masculine woman, right? So there's a name for that. There's so many different. There's pansexual who is attracted to, man or women or transgender or the whole. So lots of terms. There's 87 gender it seems, or that be more also. It may be adding.
Oh my God.
So
I didn't know
lot to
about that.
discover, but yes, there's quite a lot of. I'm old school now. I'm like, okay, enough. Queer is enough for me.
What has been your coming out story? How did you come out? When did you realize that you do not want to, be a woman now? And like, how did you discover everything?
So as a trans person,
yes,
we have to come out twice, right? My journey, now I told my journey so many times, I feel like, ages. Like, but anyway, from the very, childhood, I knew that I was different. And I was always attracted to women, the feminine
the
qualities.
feminine energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I thought that if I were born in the US, maybe I would have been bi. Karan, in the US, even men accept their feminine self. There are quite a lot of feminine men. In this generation, here also in India, you can see feminine men, right? But when I was raised, that time I didn't see any feminine men, right?
Yeah.
They were all masculine men, like my father was like strict, So I was never attracted to this. My mom was, she was from Dibrugarh, and she had all this feminine, she was like very graceful. I lost my mom recently, a couple of months ago. And everybody, for us, we take our mom for granted, right? Mom. But when she died, everybody, like my mom was very beautiful. And she was very graceful. Ellie, she had this beauty and quality, loving, nourishing, kind, all these qualities that one looks for their mother. And I think that I had the best mother that one could ever have. So I always attracted those qualities that my mother had, not what my father had. So I didn't know that it's called feminine. I studied in an all-girls school, local vernacular medium. I had no idea what is queer and not, all that. I just know that I was different, right? I studied in Cotton College. I was attracted to someone, but I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Right. It's just then I.
Did you confess that time?
No, I didn't even know.
You didn't realize what's
Right.
happening.
And that
Yeah.
time, like here nowadays, you guys are young, and you know, many people are so, what do you call, sexually active early and all that stuff. That time it was not like that.
Yeah.
And we didn't even talk. And I grew up in a family we never talk about sex and all that stuff. So, but I knew that I was different. Attraction also, I did not know, like, you know, that this is called attraction. But you know, now when I hindsight, I feel like, oh, I was attracted to so and so. But I knew that I was different. You know, I was like very, you know, I was definitely in a wrong body, right?
Yeah.
So, so I wanted to be a bird and run away. I want to run away from everybody. So I did. I studied hard. Then only I started studying hard. Before that, I did not study well. You know, class 8 I had changed. I studied class 8, 9, 10. I did well in my, you know, matriculation and 12. And then I realized that I have to stand in my own feet. I don't have to, you know, I didn't want to ask money to somebody else.
Yeah.
So I went to Surat,
Mm-hmm.
NIT Surat. I did my engineering there. And then in engineering college, I saw first Hijra in my life. So I looked at them and like, something is, you know, we had something similar, which I that time rejected. I did not accept it myself. But I was so naive that time. I did not know anything bad. I did not know, you know, I didn't know prostitution or, you know, I was very honest. Dishonesty, you know, I never, you know, did or, you know, face also my, you know. So my life in engineering college helped me to grow up. And when I saw that, that was a tube light for me. Okay, there's more people, but I was curious. I was not sure, you know. And then I saw a Wimbledon match between Martina and Chris Evert, and I think the commentator said something about Martina being gay and something about her girlfriend. So that is the first time I heard the word gay, and I was like very excited. I immediately found a dictionary and found out what it meant, and that was the day I realized there's more people like me in this world.
What is your vision of a society?
My vision for a society, equality.
Yeah.
Equality, basically, a place where everybody is welcome, healthy. When I say healthy, it doesn't mean they're just free from medicine, but a place where there is community. For me, a society is the whole Assam. For me, all Assam, where I grew up, was ideal for me, because, you know, as you know, we have Namghar, right?
Yeah.
In Namghar, everybody used to come together.
Yeah.
There's, you know, community coming together, right? I remember when I, you know, lived in Rajgarh, way back in 86, 87, you know, every house, small Assam type house, there's a couple of flower plots, cute houses, well maintained. People clean not only their house, even the street were clean. We didn't see any injured dogs or animals. But what I see now, I say, what had happened?
Who was the first person you told about your sexuality?
In my family or any?
Otherwise, like both ways, if you can tell us.
So in now I remember. In US, what had happened was, I'm very extrovert. I like community, and I was very involved with Assamese community. All
There
right?
in US.
Yes. And I have many communities, like Assamese community, the whole Indian communities, then Powderhunt community where I live, and, you know, I have communities of friends. So among the Indian community, and he's also my mentor, you know, two of my friends, both of them had done their PhD in electrical engineering. And, you know, PhD people always like to scrutinize and study and analyze, right?
Yeah.
And they were analyzing me and us all this time, and they knew that they knew that I am queer.
Yeah.
They did not know about her, And when they thought that she may be bi, and they were just studying our relationship. Then they thought that I may not be knowing who I am, so they have to come and tell me, and they knew that I was going through a really rough time, right? Because she was having lots of pressure from family to get married and all that, and it was very painful, right?
Yeah, I'm sure.
So they had told me, they called me one day and they said, and they cannot ask me directly because I didn't say anything. I couldn't say anything because my ex did not want me to say, right?
Yeah.
So I was keeping quiet, but everybody see my pain, right? So even unknowingly, even if I did not tell, they knew, because we had this 2-bedroom apartment, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment. We were like, closeted.
Yeah.
So, but the community knew. So finally, the community, they couldn't take me. They could not see me in so much pain. So my friend Sarit told me that I can move to their house. I can move to the basement. Live with them. And I was in love, and I didn't want to. Did not even leave, and it was really very bad time I had. And then even from the Assamese community, even though Assamese community is very closeted and close-minded, because when they leave their home and they live in US or anywhere else, they want to preserve their cultural identity, right? So they do not want to, if you leave, say you left India in 94, then you are stuck with the values from 94, where India has progressed and, they accepted the LGBTQ and all that, but your mindset would be that 94 mindset. So, initially, lots of people did not accept me, but there's 2 family who totally supported me. There's 2 family who really supported me, Assamese family. And I had this other family who is from, now they also moved back, they live in Himachal.
Oh.
So there's 3 family, and then I had called my brother-in-law over here, and I told him, he's a doctor, my sister is also a doctor, and I told that I was queer. And my brother-in-law kept quiet for, few seconds, and he said that I'm very proud of you, because you were honest to yourself. And he said, I studied in medical college, I know what happens over there. So you are a person of integrity, and he appreciated me for that. And he said, if you don't worry about your mom and dad, I'll take care of it, whatever. So he told to my close family, I did not have to come out to everybody as such. And to my extended family, I did not come out.
Yeah, I think it doesn't really matter also.
Yeah, I am who I am. They can
Yeah.
figure it out. I didn't have to, but when the whole pride thing happened, then I was like out to everybody.
Yeah.
So all that happened, and then I did my transition in 2015.
How old were you at that time?
Around 45. Yeah. So
How did you decide,
it was decided for me. I did not decide because, I was struggling, because for me, though I was an engineer, I see all the social issues, right? The poverty, the gender differences, the animal rights and environment and all that. I was concerned about all that stuff. So for me, first of all, for me, one thing was that transgender somehow felt like hijra. Even most of the government officers, they think that the transgender is hijra, but it is not.
It is not.
So for me that time, because I was ignorant, so transgender mean I thought that the hijra, right? And I was transphobic myself. I did not come out, right?
Oh.
That is one thing. Second was that, life is limited. I don't have time to learn how to be a man, or how to talk like a man, or how to, hang out with man, because
Yeah.
all life I was always, with women.
females,
And I
yeah.
prefer women company any day. So I did not want to do, you go and sit with this man, specifically in US, they will either talk about sex or they will talk about car or, football match or gay. And I get bored, right? Even if you go to the bathroom, they're like so stinking dirty, So, yeah, I identify as a man, but I did not like those parts. And honestly, I was in Atlanta, once. And this person was one of my client, and he knew that I was trans man. And he was like, buddy, let's go out, let's go out. So he took me to a stand-up comedy show.
Yeah.
Honestly, in this stand-up comedy show, they just talk so low about women. It was about, only about sex and women. And it was really, this guy had a very good intention, but I was like, all right, enough, I don't want to listen anymore, So I think their values and my values doesn't match, Thankfully, not all the men are like that, but,
Yeah.
So luckily I have now quite a lot of male friends, but not like that, So anyway, so what had happened in 2010, I think 2009, my sister was diagnosed with cancer.
Oh.
And that made me realize that my grandfather, my uncle, my aunt, and my sister, same genealogy, same line, and we have cancer. So that means I was high risk. And then I did a genealogy test. And they test for two genes, BRCA1 and BRCA2. My BRCA1 was unknown. So again, higher risk. So this also quite often happened to the Jewish community, Jewish family. And Angelina Jolie,
Yeah.
she also did the same thing. She tested and she was high risk. So doctor said that I should have a mastectomy, which is removal of breast, and hysterectomy, removal of uterus. So I did mastectomy. I was very happy to do mastectomy. I was like really happy. Doctor said that do you need counseling? I said no, I don't need counseling. I said, do you have any question? My father said no. So my father, I think, knew because we're four of us. My elder brother, two sisters, and I was the youngest. And my parents were, hoping for a boy, and I was born. So initial few years of my life, I was always tomboys. I was always boys. So from the childhood, I was, I think that was they hoped for, and I was born. So I think though I did not get along with my father so much, but whether I liked it or not, but I inherited lots of qualities from my father. He was very hardworking and dedicated. I am also quite hardworking. I feel that, and what I want to do, I do 100%. So in a way, what he wanted in a son, I had it. So he had no question. My mom had some difficulties understanding. My mom, she couldn't understand. But other than that, nobody had any question. Everybody asked. Even now, in fact, with my parents gone, I was lucky not to see many dead bodies in my life. So I had seen one when I was in 1980, when I was like 10 years old or whatever, around in 1980s or something. So, and that had a big impact on my life. And I was very close to my mother that time, and I got very scared, of losing my mother, and ma being a in the wall as a if my mother die, I realized that she'll be a picture and will put
Someday.
someday.
Yeah.
So I got very scared, and then I decided that I cannot go so close to anybody. So that was my defense mechanism. So I was generally, I don't want to be that close to somebody that it hurts so much, and I was lucky to have my mother another 40 plus years, because my mom recently died in her old age. And I never saw a dead body. After that, I didn't see any dead body, and
for a very long time.
For a long time, and I never been to a cremation ground before that. So when I decided that I would transition, so I told my friend, my best friend, Marta, that I'm scared. I'm scared of going to cremation ground. I'm scared of seeing my loved one being burned, right? And I also realized that I cannot just say I'm son and then not doing my duties, right? So my dad died just before COVID.
Oh.
And I also feel good that when I came back, that was another reason, because I wanted to be here
with
in my parents' last, few, last stages. So I did carry him. I got this inner strength. I did not care what other people say. But my father and my family totally accepted me, and I did all the ritual what one accept of their son. So I did that, and the cremation ground was not as scary as I thought. It was very peaceful, and all the people came, and it was very supportive, and it was a very nice way of saying goodbye. So that also complete my transition, because I feel at peace, whatever I expected. From the very childhood, I did take care of my parents, whatever one expect from their son, I did that. Son or children, I think their kids, I did my duty as a child. So one generation is gone now. My parents' generation mostly gone. So anyway, this is my whole transition story.
I didn't understand one thing. How was your relation with your parents after, especially your mom, after you came out? You said it was difficult for her to accept and to understand.
It was difficult for her to understand.
Yeah.
That I was always like a, man or son, because my mom, as I said, my mom come from a traditional Assamese family, and my mom and all her siblings, our sisters, are very good looking, elegant, typical Assamese Buari kind of thing, and here I am.
Yeah.
So she had little difficulty understanding and accepting that, but she never said anything, but I knew, and my mom had dementia.
Oh.
Okay, she died of dementia. And she was so worried about my other sister, because my other sister had a divorce, and she was all worried about my sister, that I was always the neglected child. So I wanted to bother her with my issue. So whenever I came, I make sure that I'm happy, and always I have surrounded with my friends. Many of my friends came here from US, and she knew that wherever I go, I have always friends, right? So that she do not have to worry that I'll be alone or things like that. So she never asked me many questions, but I knew that back of her mind, she wished that I was married, and typical Asmi's daughter, but that never happened.
Didn't you ever want to get married?
Yeah, I did. I wanted to have a family, and I was long time back in my 20s. I was very angry with God for making me this way, because I wanted a big family. I wanted all that, and of course, as I said, I had few relationships, and then it didn't happen, and I cannot be sad that one part of my life was not fulfilled, that I did not have this big accent, that family. But I cannot just see it as a half half empty glass, right?
Yeah.
That part did not happen. I cannot just be sad about just one thing that didn't happen in my life, right? And I'm not easy, I'm difficult, and I'm adamant. And I think, and specifically my last breakup, I felt that I didn't want to make anybody sad. When Jan left, she was a good person, and I was so surprised that she betrayed me. Like betrayal, and a good person doing that, and she was more in love with me than I was, and she doing this, so I must have really pushed her, right? And I don't want to do that to anybody else. So after that, like, I didn't date. I was focused with my work, and because it become a distraction also, right? Because I'm very focused. If I'm in a relationship, I'm focused in a relationship, like,
Completely, all in.
All in. I'll be here and like looking over there. No, I'm just this. Right? So when that breakup happened, I'm like, I really had to think through what is important to me. And for me, Assam is important. I love Assam, and I love our culture. And I thought that, okay, I may not have my biological child, but I can adopt all these kids. I generally work with lots of kids, not young kid, but I do not have patience. So I would not happen to be a great parent because I'm impatient person. So everything happened for a reason, and I should be happy with whatever I have. And I always thought that I cannot even give a case against God, right? Court case to lag nahi sekte, na? That will be just, I'll be always lost.
Yeah.
So there's no point of me being angry with God for making me this way. I cannot change it. I better accept it and be happy with whatever I have. A person will not get everything in life. I wanted to get married. I wanted to have a family. It didn't happen. That's it.
With that, let's move on to our first fun segment.
Sure.
I'll give you one word and you'll have to reply with whatever comes to your mind. Quickly.
Sure.
Assam.
Assam. Greenery.
Equality.
Equity.
Art.
Right now, movies.
Guwahati traffic.
Tell me about it.
Politics.
Hate it.
Social service.
That is my heart in it. So you have to have the heart to do social work, social service.
Film industry.
Question mark.
Love.
Complicated.
USA.
Love. Because I got my love, unconditional love, from people
There.
Because I feel like I grew up over there, right?
Millie.
Milin. Milli means somebody who is easily mixed with other people. So I thought that the Milli really suited my name, and I wanted to keep my name Milli.
Where in India are the best hospitals for transition, like for the transition operations?
Lots of people go, but I'm not the right person to tell because I did not have my surgery here. But
Yeah,
most
but-
people go to Delhi
Yeah.
or Calcutta. But Delhi, you have to be very careful because nowadays it is, you need to have gender dysphoria certificate, right? And generally for the gender dysphoria certificate, which you can get even in GMC now, generally it could take you few sessions. After few sessions, the doctor will give you the gender
They study you.
Sorry?
How can one get that certificate?
So they will, you have to meet with a psychologist, and
They will study your behavior and all
yeah,
that.
and after few sessions, they will do some tests also. They give you the gender dysphoria certificate, right?
Okay. What
it-
kind of test?
I really don't know, but they wanted to make sure that you accept yourself, you're comfortable with, suppose you are a man, transition to be a female, that you are comfortable in female dress and, your behavior and whatever. They meet with you for quite few times, and when they feel that, yes, this person has a gender dysphoria. You know what is a gender dysphoria?
I don't know,
Okay.
honestly.
So, I'm sure that you are very conscious with your hair. You will not feel comfortable if your hair is not, proper. Yes or no?
Little bit, sometimes. Yeah.
So, imagine your whole body is not aligned with what you feel inside. Very uncomfortable, right? I'm very uncomfortable. I was very uncomfortable when I had a breast.
Yeah.
Very uncomfortable. So, what I saw in the mirror did not portray what I feel inside. That is gender dysphoria. And nowadays they do not use the word dysphoria, but I forgot what the new term is, but I'm continuing using it as a dysphoria. So that is called gender dysphoria. And they give a certificate saying that yes, this person has gender dysphoria. Alright?
Alright.
And then you can get an affidavit. And once you have the affidavit, you can go to the National Portal for Transgender, and there you can apply for a trans ID card. Once you have a trans ID card, then you can get a trans Ayushman card, T card. And if you have that transgender T card, then you get up to 5 lakhs every year for your surgeries. So it's cashless. So if you have that T card, then up to if I go to any government recognized hospital, so it will deduct the money from there for surgeries. So government have all the scheme now, but you need the gender dysphoria certificate. So now what happened is many people want the certificate quickly. They wanted to transition very quickly. So people have to be very careful on that, to be honest. I have seen in my own life, I had a friend in US, I have a friend, female to male transition, F2M they call it, and that person really wanted to do it quickly. So when you get your testosterone, sometimes there's more amount than you
should have. Yeah.
And he injected more.
Oh.
And now he has leukemia. So you have to be very careful how much you're injecting. So inject only what amount the doctor subscribe to you, right? And so that is what. Second is that people have to really understand who they are, right? You do not transition because your girlfriend wanted or somebody else's. You transition because yourself.
You want it.
Right? It's about you.
Yeah.
It is not about what is you attracted to or anybody else. It is you, how you feel inside, right? So sometimes some people do it very quickly. So transition is hard, but reverse transition is much harder.
Oh, so there is reverse transition as
Yes.
well. Okay, can you tell me what is the most common misconception about trans people? That
One is that, first thing is that people think transgender mean hijra. That is quite often, right? Because hijras are more visible, so that's why people think that only hijras are transgender. But within transgender, there's a big umbrella. There's trans men, there's trans women, there's gender neutral person. There's, again, as I said, that there's 87 different type of genders. So there's gender non-conformatory, gender neutral, gender queer. There's quite a lot of stuff in it. And there's intersex people also, right? So intersex is not really transgender because they are born with both the genitalias. So So what often people do, and they should not, the parents make the doctor as a god. The parents should not make the doctor as a god or themselves. They will choose that, oh, okay, we want a boy, so make it boy. Because quite often it happened that the person grow up and they do not align inside, right? And so most most developed countries, they said that let the person be with both the genitalia, and when they become active, let them choose what they
want to
want.
be. Yeah.
And not many books are written about intersex, and I was reading some book where I realized that many times what happened, this is true story, this girl, she's a girl, beautiful girl, she was best girl or whatever I forgot what they call it, in prom night she was the best prom couple
queen.
And whatever, prom queen.
Yeah.
But when she had her first sexual act, she realized that she actually, it was having lots of pain, and she went to doctor and came to know that actually she was intersex. She herself did not know. So how much big trauma it is, quite anyway. So lots of things about them is not talked about. So anyway.
Yeah, I think trans women are there, people know about it, and people are like now okay and accepting it. But trans men, it's still like, okay, ye bhi hota hai. How does this happen?
Yes, quite often what happened, I'm being very rude and direct, when trans men are more focused on how to get laid. They're just focused in that. The first thing they will say that, oh, can I get married? It's all about just, sex and women, and they're less bothered about the community or doing something upliftment for the trans community itself.
Being a trans man yourself, you're saying this.
Yes, because that's what I just see. And what happened is that in the US, I do not know about India, out of 10, 8 trans men become gay. So most of my trans man friend now have a gay relationship, because they take so much of hormone, testosterone, and more sexual desire, and just
And they end up being with men.
Yep, quite often. And sometimes it is so surprising, like, oh, you've never been with a man before, and now you're with a man.
Suddenly with a man.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes, I was scared myself, because all around I said, oh, they become all gay. Yeah. So.
Have you ever thought of dating a man?
Me. When I have initially taken testosterone, I never noticed before, but now I started noticing, oh, that person have a muscles. I started noticing muscles. Okay. And I got hit on by a couple of men.
Oh.
And previously, when not that I was very feminine, but it happened in a couple of times that some men approached me before transition. I used to get very angry. But after transition, when it happened, I took it as a compliment. I was like I was okay with that. I don't get angry. So not that but then slowly I'm like, okay, previously it was like, no, I'm like, okay, fine, I'm not interested, but it's fine, that's it. Yeah. And nowadays I'm so much into work that I just think about work. I don't even go out or do anything fun that way.
But I think you should.
Oh well, maybe if something happen, it will happen.
If it's meant to be, it will be.
Yes.
Talking about your work, you have founded an NGO.
Yes.
Enajori.
Yes.
Tell us more about it. How did you start, and how is it going on now?
So Enajori means unconditional love, and it's the unconditional love for Northeast that I have come back.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what I want to do.
Yeah.
All I know that I want Assam to be like before. I want Assam to be one of the best place for human and animal. So trying to figure out what to want to do, and then I realized then COVID happened, and of course as a trans man I'm quite doing advocacy for LGBTQ and transgender stuff. But then improving few lives in transgender life is not my ultimate goal in life. I want to do more than that, because for me Assam is important, Northeast is important, my language is important, my culture is important. So and I love my dog or cat or whatever I grow up. So, and seeing their situation, the street animals situation, it made me sad. So Anajuri does advocacy, and we work on 7 different areas, like climate change and way forward. Then we have art and craft, because we wanted to export stuff from Assam. And also now movie making become a part, because I realized that through movies we can film
reach
or
out to
small
people.
Yeah, and our ideas or stories of Assam could be gone to outside, because I live in US for so long, so it's easier for me to take my stories to US. Then community health, in that it is specifically for elders, elder club, like people like us, when we get old, when we are alone, what will happen, because Guwahati is not elder friendly. Then gender and sexuality, mainly advocacy, talking about transgender rights and stuff like that. Animal welfare, supporting animal welfare organization, and also trying to make sure that we have SPCA, which is the Society for Prevention of Animal Cruelty Against Animal. So this SPCA Act, according to that, every district supposed to have a shelter and a board, SPCA board, every district. We don't have it. So working on that, trying to do some workshop with collaborating with Human Society International. We want to have this workshop. We are planning to have it on 28th of this month in Guwahati. And also supporting, like, who are the people doing, creating a network, like, there's a cow getting injured in Gwalpara, so at least we're having a network now to connect to the founder of various animal welfare organization, mainly connection. Then we have education, specifically for STEM education. Remember I told you about my friend Sarit and Sandhya, my mentor. They also came back and they started an organization called Sambhavana in university, and after that they started Avishkar, teaching maths and science through stories. So I'm trying to get that to Assam, because they're doing excellent work in national level. And the last is entrepreneurship, is basically trying to see what we have and how can we support the young entrepreneurs.
Through your organization, how are you helping the trans people?
How am I helping the trans people? Good question. First of all, mostly it is advocacy work, right?
Yeah.
Going and talking about trans right and what is happening, the concept and history and all that, to the various social welfare department and the government officers. So the first they have to know, because they are people who are supposed to serving the community, right? So first we are trying to educate the social welfare department, and through them the other play, right? Not directly, indirectly helping. Second thing is that we have somebody called Indrani and Amulya. Amulya is a young girl who I was talking about. She is 16-year-old, 10th grade student, excellent. And her mom Indrani is the mom that all trans people should have. Like, she's the ideal mom. She's so passionate about trans right, and she doesn't want her daughter to go through any more pain in her, in her life. So Indrani joined Anajori, and we have been any call related to young trans person struggling at home, or if parents not accepting, we are just having to talk with them. Anybody who reach out to us, we generally, if they have an issue in the school or something, we advocate for them, we talk to the school on their behalf. So anybody who is going through any difficulties at home, school or college, we try to advocate for them or talk for them or try to help whatever way we can. Hijra community, we haven't been able to do much, except that we have given food during COVID and medical kit. So initially started with like 50 people, then 125, then 400 something, then there's an organization called Parivar Way. They asked if we can help the whole of Northeast. So we did, except Manipur, we did deliver during COVID. We have delivered food and medical kit. And quite often, like we were doing the trans ID card, quite often things that there are various organizations in Assam. The sad point is that they think each other to be competitor rather than collaboration.
Yeah.
So that is quite often I'm seeing that, whether it's animal sector or environment or LGBTQ, rather than let's collaborate and do things
and grow together.
Yeah, rather than thinking each other to be enemies and like competition, I think we should do collaboration, and then only you can do. Also, you can get grant. Because most of the organizations are very small organizations, right? So if we have to go ahead, then we have to work together, right? We have to collaborate. What else? Day to day, whatever we get calls from somebody, I generally don't give money, personal money for surgeries and all. No, we don't, because now government is giving. We also have that some skill developing training. First of all, to talk about what are the different areas they can go, what does it a doctor do, or what does a social worker do, or what is a fishery farmer do, and all kind of thing. We had an introductory session, and then based on that we had some training specialized. If some people are interested in piggery, then we had some training on that.
So that's how you're helping the trans people.
Yeah, that's how we have been doing.
So during COVID time, did you also try to help the animals?
Yes, but we are not directly an animal rescue organization, but we had worked with other organizations like Purpose and sometime with a street animal, but helping them if they need something. Directly, no, we are not an animal rescue organization, but we try to, because we also have a webinar.
Yeah.
So through webinars, we collaborated more than 500 organizations or individual. So for animal welfare, we have around 80 people that we connected. So now I have network. So if somebody is injured somewhere, we're able to connect. So the networking part, as well as doing right now SPCA, trying to get FCCA, and also monitoring about sterilization process. If you are an animal lover, first of all, we really emphasize that you do not buy animal, you adopt desi dog, because we are desi people and we should have desi dog rather than
the
this
Indian breed.
Yeah,
Indian dog, Indian cat.
Yes,
I have a cat at home.
Okay. And many people have this husky, like, no, why do you torture this?
Yeah,
husky?
They're not made for the weather
Yes.
here.
And then and emphasizing on sterilization.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think it is still, the animal welfare centers here are still like not up to the mark yet.
Yeah. Centers,
the kind of work they should do.
Centers or shelters? Shelters you are talking?
Shelters, yeah.
Because generally, to be on their defense, quite a lot of it's generally run by women quite often, and most shelters over here, generally the lead is women mostly, and they have limited fund, Because sometimes if you have to really treat one dog, it may cost you 25 to 30,000.
True.
Where do you get the money? Because nobody is paying them money, right? Only donation coming through.
Yeah.
They are not getting any help from the government. The
Yeah.
SPCA is supposed to be there, but SPCA team is also not getting that kind of power to do that. They do not have their beds. They don't even have their own van, right? So first of all, we have to make sure that the SPCA is strong. So they have all the equipment, what needed. We should learn animal laws. There's a fellowship called Ahimsa Fellowship. I hope that animal lover get into that fellowship program, because then they will learn how to fight for. Like, we do not know many things. Many of the laws we do not know. The police officers do not know. The DC do not know.
Yeah.
Right? So we have to educate ourselves. We have to learn our rights. Then only we can fight. Right? Yeah.
Coming back to your first movie,
Yes.
Fireflies.
Yes.
How did you start with that? Like, how did you take that initiative? It is the first Assamese
Sure.
movie that is about queer community.
Sure.
So please tell us about that.
I did not come here to do the movie. I never even thought that I'll make a movie.
Yeah.
Okay, I stay away from glamour industry and
Oh, do
all
you?
that. So then what happened is that I went to Kamakya railway station, and there I met the first Assamese transgender woman, Hijra.
Yeah.
And that area was very stinky, and I had asthma, so I really had an reaction. And I met with this woman who was almost 28 years old, and we talked quite a lot of things. And two things I remember. One thing she said that hamara dunya hi alag, and second thing she said that because her parent, or she has 10 bighas of land in her village. So I said, what you doing here? And she said, ami mohanto manhu, ami belagor karone kam nokoru. So I was like, So I had that and that 2 or 3 hours later I was just in this cocktail party, and I just came back from US. I was sitting in a corner thinking and reflecting, and I sat next to Prakash Deka, who was an aspiring scriptwriter come director who came from Bombay. At that time he was dating Bitopi, my friend, with whom we organized the first Queer Pride. And it was Meenakshi, who is another person with whom we organized, co-organizer of the first Pride, her wedding, her cocktail party. So anyway, so I was asking him if he could make a documentary movie. So he said that he didn't work on documentaries, but he is into feature film, and he really pleaded me to really produce this movie. And I was hoping that my brother-in-law and somebody else, 3 of us, will come together and make the movie, because I took a retirement and left my job and all that. But he was very confident that he will get award. He will really try to do a good job and look eye to eye and say that I'll do this. So finally I agreed.
After reading the script and everything?
No, before even
What?
because we did not even write the script, right?
Okay.
Because
so
we
you
just
just decided the topic. It will be around this.
Yeah, then we decided, we met quite a few trans and Hijras and get their stories, and okay, bathroom issue has to be covered, and it has to be some positive, and we want to cover this point, So after talking to these people, so it was like, we didn't have a script before. We decided we'll make the movie, gather the script, and they gather the stories from different people. Then he wrote the story, and then we make. So it was not a proper movie, making. We did not follow. None of us were from movie industry. So I have to bear all the pain, because my hard-earned money is gone.
Yeah.
So I was like, my retirement, part of my retirement. But anyway, so it's, very hard way I learned that you do not make a movie like that. You have a team, you have a marketing team, and don't listen what the director says. It will. Director is interested in making the movie,
Yeah.
and then once he get his name, then he is like, okay, I'm done.
But I
Okay.
think it's picking up with the hit movies like Raghupati and Dr. Bezbarwa too, then Guwahati Diaries. I think these
Yeah.
were some really super hit movies from Assamese film industry.
Yeah, yes.
So I think
yes.
the market is picking up now. People are now, starting again to watch the movies.
Yes.
So
yes.
yeah, I think
I am hopeful for that.
yeah,
you know.
it's the right time, I think.
And I want quite a lot of, like, if you see quite a lot of Bengali movies, right? I saw this movie Avarman, or 19 April, or Japanese Wife, and so many Ritupurna Ghosh's movies, excellent movies. And I would love to see more movies like that, which is like you keep on thinking about the movie, right? So yeah, I would love to see more, substantial movies, right? Not only just commercial, but more depth. So, but again, if you try to make some, those kind of movies, then money doesn't come in. Right? Not everybody sees those movies, right?
Yeah, but awards come in.
Yes, awards come in.
Anyway, all the very best for
Thank
your
you.
upcoming movie.
Thank you.
Before we conclude, can you tell us one quote or advice for the trans community that you would like to share?
For trans community.
Trans community or anybody who's, figuring out themselves in any which way possible.
Yes. What is it for trans community, and also to the youth?
To youth, yeah.
So trans community, I'm going to say that first study and stand in your own feet. Don't pressure your parents that we have to do the surgeries because it's expensive, right? So first focus in your studies and please stand in your own feet. If I did not study, if I did not, do whatever I did, you wouldn't have invited me today, right?
Yeah.
So that is important. And for the youth, specifically for the Assamese youth, I would say that first speak your language, learn your language, right? Second is be local, support local item, right? Support local food, local clothes, whatever. Otherwise, we are going to totally lose ourselves.
Yeah, remember
Alright.
your roots, basically.
Yeah, remember our roots.
Thank you for being a part of our show. It was lovely chatting with you, sir.
Same here. It was great connecting with you, and all the best for your this first 26 episode, right?
Yeah, that's the target.
All right. Thank you so very much, and thank you, Prax Studio, for that.
Thank you. Today's episode was all about celebrating yourself and your individuality. We hope you liked today's episode with Mr. Milin Dutta. It was lovely chatting with him. He is himself unapologetically. If you like the episode, please like, share and comment down whom do you want to see next only at Rengoni TV YouTube channel. Till then, take care. We'll see you next week.